what you need to know before traveling to Brazil. Hey guys, this is Ozzie from Wanderlust Awe Syndrome, where I provide unique views, advice, and stories for you, the passionate traveler. Today, we're going to talk about what you need to know before entering Brazil as a traveler. This year, I am going to Brazil for the very first time. In fact, I am going to South America for the very first time to hit my 6th continent. And what I need to know is what is the process prior to entering Brazil. At this time, during the recording of this video, COVID has died down a lot, but there are some countries throughout the world who are having measures to make sure that you do not come in the country with COVID, and Brazil is no exception. There are some guidelines that you must follow that we're going to discuss today, so we're going to check it out. Let's get into it. Alright, so I am on the visitbrazil.com, where you can find very important information about traveling to Brazil. In this case, I use this to get some more information on COVID-19 in Brazil, and we're going to go through there to know the requirements. Requirements to enter Brazilian territory. Travelers arriving in international flights, whether Brazilian or foreign, must provide proof of vaccination, printed or in electronic form, in Portuguese, English, or Spanish, to the airlines responsible for the flight prior to boarding. So, if you are looking to go to Brazil as a traveler, you must have proof of vaccination, and not just one, unless you got the Johnson & Johnson, which you have to ensure that the Brazilian government approves of that. But if you got the 2 shots of the different COVID-19 stuff, you can enter Brazil. If you have not, the country at this point, according to this website, will not allow you to go inside the country. Another recommendation I suggest is get your yellow fever shots, just in case they ask about your yellow fever. I'm not sure if they will check it, but it's better to be safe than sorry and not waste resources because you did not get the proper documents to prove certain vaccinations that are needed to enter the country. There are some exceptions here. We'll go through there. Proof of vaccination does not apply to any traveler with a health condition that contradicts vaccinations, as long as it's attested by a medical report. So if you are allergic to the COVID-19 vaccinations, you need to have a medical report proving that and stating that to enter the country. Any traveler ineligible for vaccination due to age restrictions, in accordance with criteria defined by the Ministry of Health. This is where you're going to have to do a lot of research into what the Brazilian government has for age restrictions. Oftentimes, it's usually kids under 2 who don't need the vaccinations. So you need to check that. I recommend checking that if you're going to bring any kid along, just to verify that they don't have to have the vaccination to enter Brazil. Any traveler coming into the country due to humanitarian crisis issues. So if there's any kind of crisis in Brazil and they need as many bodies as they can get to help its own citizens, it's not going to waste time asking people to prove that they have vaccinations. It's more likely people who are doing this will already have their vaccinations, but they're going to need as many bodies as they can get to be able to save lives and be able to help rebuild. Any travelers from countries with low vaccination coverage as defined by the Ministry of Health. Low, so this is people who want the vaccination, but they're in a country where the government just doesn't have enough vaccinations to give to most of its citizens. So this will give people an opportunity to find a place in Brazil to get vaccinated so they can be safe in their own way. But this is a way for people who doesn't have access to the vaccine as much because of the country not giving enough towards its citizens. And the last but not least, if you're a Brazilian and foreigners residing in Brazilian territory who are not fully vaccinated. So pretty much if you are a citizen or you are authorized to stay in Brazil, you are not required for vaccinations. And down here, we're going to see what happens when you're not fully vaccinated as a foreign traveler. Travelers with the above sections must provide the airline responsible for the flight with a negative RT-PCR test taken within 24 hours prior to boarding in Portuguese, English, or Spanish. So even though the exceptions don't have to get a vaccination, they must have a negative test within 24 hours. I can tell you from firsthand, trying to go to Nigeria, trying to get a negative test within 72 hours is a challenge. It is a stressful challenge of trying to find a place that will quickly test you and give you the results ASAP. Also, you have to upload it. So I'm not sure if I have to upload it to some kind of online website from the Brazilian government. I am going to research that more, but I'm guessing because the airline companies will give the yay or nay if you get to go on the plane, you're going to have to show them either you're vaccinated or you have a negative test to go on the plane to Brazil. If you do not, the airline companies will deny you, no questions asked. So you need to have the proof of some kind of type saying that you have the vaccinations or you have a negative COVID-19 test. This is interesting down here. So if you happen to stop at a flight and you stay over a day, this is what's going to clear this up. Connecting flights and stopovers, a new RT-PCR test must be provided if travelers are in transit in non-restricted areas for more than 24 hours. So if you stay over a day, you need to do a negative test. Travelers who are not fully vaccinated are not allowed to enter the national territory with exceptions. Again, if you're unvaccinated, you cannot enter Brazil unless you meet those exceptions that I mentioned before. No questions asked. You will not be able to get on the plane without proof of either a vaccination card saying that you got both doses of the vaccine, or you have a negative test to be able to go to Brazil, stating that you have one of these exceptions. You are part of one of these exceptions. All right, so all vaccinations, we'll look at vaccinations. All vaccinations must be approved by the Brazilian Health Regulatory Agency, or Anvisa, by the World Health Organization, or by the authorities in the country of origin. The vaccinations used in Brazil are the following: AstraZeneca, Pfizer, Johnson, and CoronaVac. So this was updated on April 1st, 2022. So this is not too long ago. So just to realize that if you're going to go to Brazil, at least make sure your COVID-19 vaccination is up to date or have proof of a negative test. This will change, who knows, but I know from my experience from going to Nigeria, it changed very quickly as I was expecting to stay at a hotel. I'm vaccinated, stay at a hotel for the entire week. On the 8th day, get tested. But the government changed that out there quickly as I was close to my trip. And now I didn't have to sit in my hotel. I can go venture in Nigeria because I have proof of a COVID-19 vaccination. So the Brazil government can change this at any moment, so just keep an eye on it and just make sure you are prepared, as any passionate travelers should do. If you like this video, please hit like, subscribe, share this video for anyone going to Nigeria, or in this case, Brazil. And speaking of Nigeria, if you're interested in going to Nigeria, especially if you're looking for a passport, I have a video that will help you understand the process of trying to apply for one. So check that out, and I'll be seeing you guys later. Peace.